The blizzard may be heading eastward, but the wind and snow have already caused a number of accidents on Prairie highways.
Everyone's out? Okay. Hey, do you need first aid?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Is the other guy okay?
I'm just checking the other cars. I'm going in the other car. Yeah, he's okay.
This video was recorded by our next guest, Michelle Moller. The former paramedic was headed to Calgary yesterday when she suddenly got caught in a pileup on the icy road. And as you can see here, she got out to check on other drivers. And she joins us now. Take us back to yesterday on that highway and what happened before you got entangled in that pileup.
Well, when we left Drumheller, the weather was perfect. It looked really good. I did take a look at the weather report. It looked like there was going to be a storm, but it was going to be outside the area we were traveling to, so I wasn't too worried about it. We had our winter tires, so everything was good. On the drive to Strathmore, that's when it started snowing. And the weather started turning a little bit bad, wasn't that bad. We went to a store, and when we went to the store, like it was just a regular winter snow. And then when we came out of the store about 15 minutes later, it was full on blizzard. And so we were headed to Calgary, and so we got in the car, took it really slow to Calgary because it was zero visibility. And there was even a car in front of us, a truck in front of us that had the blinkers on, and you couldn't even see it. It was like there was zero visibility. And then we saw that some traffic was backed up, so we stopped, and I had my husband pull over to the side so that we could make sure that nobody hit us from behind just in case. And that's when cars started piling up. There was one car that drove past us pretty fast, and I think he was one of the cars in the pileup, and everybody else thankfully stopped. And yeah, that's essentially the build up to just before the video.
And so in that video, you're going from car to car. I assume that's your paramedic background that's playing out there, and you decided to go out and see if anybody needed help.
Yeah, I teach first aid as well, so I wanted to make sure that nobody needed first aid. I didn't really have much of I just want to make sure everyone was okay, really is what it boiled down to. And then I would just keep 911 updated as to which cars needed the higher priority for care. But miraculously, no one was seriously hurt. I was so impressed that out of the 10 cars that I saw that looked like they got hit or hit someone, that everyone was just very, cool. And I think everyone's going to be pretty stiff this morning, I'm pretty sure. But miraculously, yeah, out of the 10 cars I went to, nobody was hurt.
That's great. Now, one of the things that I often don't think about when there are crashes like this, but watching your video, it leads to this question. Like, how long did it take before people who didn't need, immediate care, before they could kind of get to some place that was warm and safe?
I think everyone just stayed in their vehicles. That was the best course of action. There was one vehicle that was empty. I'm guessing he was either checking on other people because there was another person walking around, or he went into a vehicle that might have been warm because he was pretty smashed up. And so my thought is that everyone just stayed in place. That was the safest thing to do, one of the smarter things to do. When I went out, I didn't have gloves on. Maybe that was less smart of me, but yeah, like I said, I'm just grateful everybody was okay and everyone just stayed in place. And the paramedics and the police, they arrived pretty shortly after. There wasn't a huge delay, and I thought there would have been given how bad the weather was and how many traffic accidents there were.
And how are you doing today?
I've lost the use of all of my fingers except for one. I can use this finger, but in a few days I'm sure my hands will be fine. I got a little bit of frostbite. I totally underestimated the wind and the cold, and but by the time I realized it, I was already committed to checking on everyone. So yeah, it'll take a few days, but otherwise I'm good.
It looks like it takes a lot to get you off your game. And you know what? I have one other question, because I've always wondered this, whether it's a police officer or a paramedic, that moment where you're attending to a car crash and you're opening up doors and you don't know what you're about to see. And so you went through that yesterday. What is going through your mind as you're, like, it must be a little bit of dread? I don't know. What's the feeling at that point?
There was no dread on my part. I think when you're trained in first aid, you just zone into the moment. And so in teaching first aid, I always tell people, especially if you're new, to count to 10 just to make sure you compose yourself, make sure that you approach a scene, make sure that you're safe, and that when you are more composed and your emotions are more under control, you're less likely to make mistakes. And so when you're trained as a paramedic, though, you're just trained to instantly be in the moment. And so for me, I didn't anticipate anything. I more just, if something happened, I would attend to it at that moment, but there was no anticipation of anything. It was just more, moment by moment.
Well, they were lucky to have you there, and impressive hearing your story, Tina. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tina Michelle Moller was involved in that in one of the pileups in Alberta yesterday.